Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Jojo Gonzalez, and like usual, I'm just finishing up my morning routine. Getting worship, prayer, and the Word. And I'm at Psalm 22. It's an amazing psalm. Jesus. He says this first line. My God, why have you forsaken me?" From the cross. And it's when God turns his back on him. And allows him to die with all that sin on him. And so it's a tough one. And so you can kind of see where David's at, kind of imagine where Jesus is at, dying there on that cross. And this is how David feels for sure. He says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me and from the words of my groaning? You know, and even though God is with us all the time, we may feel like this. You may feel like this, forsaken, lost. And I'm here to tell you, look, if you believe in Christ, you abide in Him, and you have that relationship with Him. He is near to you. He's not far from you. You're not lost. God didn't drop you, in a stream somewhere, or lose you like a pebble. Just like David going through all this trouble, just like Jesus dying on the cross, all this was a part of, His plan for you, for me. So I know it may feel like this sometimes, that He's far, but God is near, and His purpose is right there with you. So be encouraged through those things. And it's hard, life on this world sometimes can get rough, but God is with you. Trust me, you're not alone. Then he says, "Oh my God, I call out by day, but you do not answer, and by night I find no rest or quiet." And I know that feeling, just kind of in turmoil throughout the day, and then not getting any rest at night. I've been through a lot of those nights, just like a lot of people. He says, "But you are holy, O you who are enthroned in the holy place where the praises of Israel are offered." And keeping that perspective, who God is. God is holy. He's just. He's righteous. He's merciful. He's gracious and glorious. It says, "In you our fathers trusted. They trusted and you rescued them. They cried out and you were and were delivered. They trusted in you and were not disappointed or ashamed. But I, treated as a worm, insignificant and powerless and not a man, I am the scorn of men and despised by the people. All who see me laugh at me and mock me. They insultingly open their lips and they shake their head, saying, 'He trusted and committed himself to the Lord. Let him save him.'" And I'm sure a lot of people say that about us, when they see us going through trouble. Um, he trusted himself to God, let him turn to God, let God save him. And they may just even, turn the screw a little bit tighter. And trust me, he will. "Let him rescue him because he delights in him. Yet you are he who pulled me out of the womb. You made me trust on my mother's breast. I was cast upon you from birth. From my mother's womb you have been my God. Do not be far from me, for trouble is near, and there is no one to help." It says, "My enemies are like bulls have surrounded me. Strong bulls of Bashan have encircled me. They open their wide mouths against me, like a raving and roaring lion." He says, "I'm poured out like water, like I didn't have any energy left, and all my bones are out of joint. I'm hurting. My heart is like wax. It's melted by anguish within me." And I know a lot of us have been there as well, just done, just poured out, just can't move, just hurting, and your heart just, melts. I think we've all been there. It says, "My strength is dried up like a fragment of clay pottery, and my dry tongue clings to my jaw, and you have laid me in the dust of death. For a pack of dogs has surrounded me. A gang of evildoers has encircled me. They pierce my hands and my feet." Another thing that goes on the cross. He says, "I count on my bones. They look, they stare at me. They divide my clothing among them and cast lots for my garment," just like the Roman guards did with Jesus Christ's garments. Then he says this. He says, kind of makes a turn. He says, "But you, O Lord, do not be far from me. O you, my help, come quickly to my assistance. Rescue my life from the sword, my only life from the paw of the dog," which is the executioner in their world. "Save me from the lion's mouth, For the horns of the wild ox you have answered me. It says, I will tell your name to the countrymen. In the midst of the congregation, I will praise you. And that's his testimony. That's that witness. This is, no, God has been good to me. Let me tell you how God's been good to me. And some people know me on this channel, some people don't. God, all the things that God has brought me through, just in life and here in the recent, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It's been rough and it's been really tough. And I tell people this testimony, of all these tough times, how God has brought us through every single time. He's rescued us, and He's allowed us to go through these things just unscathed, just untouched, just emotionally, spiritually and physically, but we're having to go through them anyway, And I just want to encourage you, through your whatever it is, whatever you're going through. You're having a tough time with your family, tough time with your finances. The floods of, the real floods, the floods of pain, of anguish. Just all these things that you're going through. You're not alone. I've gone through a lot of those things. David's gone through a lot of those things. The people around you, church, and mentors. Whoever you have. Speak with them, talk with them. They'll be able to open up and give you some wisdom, give you some insight. And if they can't understand, they can give you at least their ear and their love, a hug, a prayer. If there's anything that you need, we're here for you. You can look us up at sagemont.org. You can DM us right here, or we'll get right back with you. And definitely let us know. We'd love to be here to pray for you and just be here for you. So. I know, like I said, this is a tough psalm for the morning, but David starts turning and he says, man, and you're so good to me. And when you are, I'll tell your name to the countrymen, to all my countrymen. And in the midst of the congregation, I'll praise you. So let that drive you today. On the other end of this, you'll be able to say, man, God brought me through this. So think about those things as you go about your day this morning. God bless.